At the jazz club, Christine's surprised to see Danny arrive. It turns out she's there to meet Lauren and he's meeting Michael. They're happily musing about getting a table together when the married couple arrives, fighting tooth and nail over Michael's lies. Lauren declares that she doesn't even want to be seated with her husband at the rock star's wedding. After they rehash their argument and Michael fumes over Lauren, faulting him for trying to avoid a crisis, Christine and Danny take their fighters to separate corners of the room. At the bar, Michael downs the Cosmo that Christine ordered for Lauren and grimaces. As Chris gets to work trying to get Michael to see Lauren's viewpoint on Victor, his wife rants to Danny across the room. The singer tries to assure her that Michael can take care of himself, but Lauren cries that the strain of worrying about Michael working for Victor has nearly broken their marriage. Danny reminds her they give each other space to be themselves and asks her to remember all the reasons she loves the attorney. As Danny works to soften Lauren, Christine uses the same tactics on Michael at the bar. He concedes his wife is amazing, fierce, independent, and the best mother. At Jabot, Jack tells Diane by phone that he's not surprised Victor went rogue with this De Leon story. They agree it's reckless and could cause Kane to retaliate. Jill walks in, warns she won't be in town for long, and urges him to make the most of her time. Jack worries about her health, but Jill says the only thing bothering her heart is Billy's rejection. Jack thinks he has reason to be upset with her. Jill concedes she could have handled the situation with Chancellor better. Jack admits he cut his brother loose as well, but Jill argues they can't turn their back on him when he needs them most. They snark about the ties that bind and sometimes choke, and Jill admits she has no idea how to get through to her son. Switching gears to Kane, Jack wonders if she can stop that train from going off the tracks. Talk turns to Newman Media's exposé, and Jill tells Jack that Lily read it and went for the jugular. The abbot worries this will incite Kane to attack. After some hand-wringing by Jack, Jill says she thinks she convinced Kane to make amends and not go after his perceived enemies. Good luck, we say, since at that very moment. At Newman Media, Adam and Chelsea are congratulating themselves on the Kane story when the man himself walks in. Adam snarks, "Did you enjoy our article?" He wonders if Ashby wants to go on the record and calls him a sleazy con man's sleazy son. Kane claims it was fiction and vows to sue the hell out of Newman Media for defamation. Kane tries to compare Chelsea's history of cons with Colin's, and Adam informs Kane that they stand by their story. Kane doubts he did any fact-checking, but instead blindly followed his daddy's orders. They spar verbally, and Adam suggests he brace for the onslaught of long-lost De Leon relatives coming to claim what they stole. Kane hopes Adam has good lawyers. On his way out, Ashby cryptically teases that he's going to have a new story for them, an exclusive for Chelsea, with a very different outcome. Adam suggests if Kane wants to do something noble, he should give up that AI program. Kane needles him about poking the bear and finally leaves. Chelsea wonders what he's up to. Adam, who was once the most cunning and calculating character in Genoa City, has no idea. He'll have to run this by his father. On the Kane train, Phyllis finds herself alone. Kane appears, clearing his throat, as she peruses his bookshelves. He accuses her of snooping, but she was looking for cards to play solitaire. She's surprised he's not blowing things up after the Newmans' latest move. As they settle on the sofas, she asks, "Is any of it true?" In the jazz club, Danny and Christine watch, as Michael joins Lauren and apologizes for being sneaky and secretive. Lauren's sorry too, for being so stubborn, but she'll always worry about his safety. She is proud of him for helping so many people they care about. Baldwin agrees to tell the truth, and his wife says she'll try to see things from his side too, even if it's about Victor. Christine and Danny applaud as they hug and kiss. Gathering together, with cosmos for everyone, Danny and Christine ask Michael to officiate their wedding, and Chris asks Lauren to be her matron of honor. Danny cracks that this wedding is going to rock on, and they all laugh and toast. At Jabot, Jill's not sure about the allegations about Colin, but he's certainly capable of it. She wants to believe that Kane had no part in it. She explains that Ashby fears his father was lying to him the whole time. He was proud that they built something legitimate. If that turns out to be a lie, everything Kane has will be burnt to ashes. Jack suggests that may be exactly what Kane needs. Adam and Chelsea arrive at Newman Enterprises, and Victor drops a rare compliment on them about their article. They announce that Ashby plans to sue. Victor couldn't care less. They warn that he's promised a very different type of story in the future. Victor muses that he's planning his next move. On the Kane train, Phyllis wants to know where Kane draws the line, because apparently he was with his father every step of the way through the con. Kane asks if she's still with him. She is, all the way. Kane declares that he doesn't want to talk about the article. He wants to change the way people think about him. Phyllis asks, "Where do I fit in?" Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, October 13th imply that Holden Novak and Claire Newman will whoop it up in Los Angeles, while Kyle Abbott will corner Victoria Newman. As fans know, Kyle has a plan to win Claire back by heading to LA to do or say who knows what at this point. Kyle's plan has dumpster fire written all over it, and if he didn't look pathetic before all this, his LA jaunt will solidify Claire's ick for him. Even worse, it sounds like Kyle will guilt Victoria Newman into telling him where Claire is staying. It's highly doubtful that Claire's mom will give him the address of Claire's whereabouts, but that doesn't mean he won't stoop to begging her for it. Still, if she refuses, there's a good chance that he sneaks a peek at a text or gets the information in another underhanded fashion. Kyle is desperate, which means his actions will be desperate too. Regardless, while Victoria did like and support Kyle and Claire as a couple, the mom may understand why Claire dumped the young Abbott after their October 13th encounter. Speaking of Claire, she'll be in LA, living her best single life, along with Holden. She's intrigued by her friend, which is why she took him up on the offer to visit Los Angeles, so he could show her around. While Kyle is a weasel, Holden's confidence is refreshing to the naive Claire. But she still needs to be careful as not to let her guard down around him. He definitely wouldn't take advantage of or hurt Claire, but Holden is a player and charmer, so she should watch out for him in that regard. The Young and the Restless spoilers note, Holden will show Claire around to all the coolest spots in LA, and the two will probably enjoy a Vesper, so it sounds like the young lady will have a blast. That is, until Kyle interrupts all the fun, later on in the week. The Young and the Restless recap for Friday, October 10th. Note that Kane Ashby will threaten some repercussions, while Jill Abbott has an eerie prediction. Jack Abbott was on the phone with Diane Abbott, complaining about the Newman media hit piece on Kane and what the aftermath would bring when Jill walked in. Jill finally made it for a visit after being in town all week, but let Jack know that she wasn't staying in town for long. While her health is well, she does have a procedure to get to in London. The two talked about everyone's favorite subject these days, Kane. Still, they spoke about Billy Abbott first, and Jill did lament that she tried to make amends with her son, but he wouldn't have it. Jack reminded her that she hurt Billy tremendously when she sold Chancellor to Victor Newman without telling him. Jill noted that while she regretted how she did it, she didn't regret what she did. Then their conversation turned to Kane and how devastating the face-off between him and Lily Winters was during the Thursday, October 9th episode, after Newman Media published that damaging article on Kane. Jack worried about revenge. However, Jill told him that Kane's focused on proving himself to his kids, not getting back at his enemies. Jack made it clear that he had nothing to do with the hit piece. He asked if the Newman media story was true, and Jill honestly wasn't sure. He also asked if Kane knew about Colin Atkinson's con, and Jill said she'd like to believe that he didn't. Jill revealed that Colin and Kane truly bonded in Colin's final days. She added that Kane looked up to Colin and was so inspired by the way he turned his life around. If Colin did con that woman, and Kane's legacy was built on a lie, Jill predicted that this would truly gut Kane to his very core. Over at Newman Media, Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman were celebrating in the afterglow of their Kane piece. The traction and clicks were awesome, but Kane placed a damper on that real fast when he walked into their offices. Kane issued a serious threat: legal action against Newman Media. He questioned if the duo had followed up with any sources. He also warned of a scoop that he'd give Chelsea and said they'd be publishing an article with a very different outcome. Of course, Chadam ran straight to Victor Newman at the Newman Ranch with an update on Kane's legal action threat and the little comment he made about a new article. Victor fluffed it off as Kane planning his next move and wasn't concerned. Meanwhile, Phyllis Summers arrived at Kane's train cab, and he wasn't there. Never one to give up an opportunity to snoop, she began looking around on his bookshelf, and when Kane caught her, she claimed she was bored, and looking for a deck of cards, Phyllis asked Kane where he had been, and he said he was running some errands. She noted that it was interesting that he wasn't planning revenge, which is when Kane stated that revenge was for the Newmans, not him. Phyllis asked him point blank if the article was true, and if he knew about Colin's con the whole time. Kane had a different response than what he had said to Jill the day before. Kane simply responded with, "Would that be a problem?" Phyllis said no, and they ended the conversation with Phyllis confirming that she's still all in. Finally, some feel-good scenes as Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti helped Lauren Fenmore and Michael Baldwin mend fences. Christine had summoned Lauren to the jazz lounge while Danny asked Michael there. Once all four of them were present, Lauren and Michael began fighting over Michael's lie about working with Kane. As fans know, Lauren was very upset that Michael lied to her and sick and tired of him constantly putting his neck out on the line for Victor. Still, the couple was separated, as Lauren spoke with Danny and Christine spoke with Michael. In the end, thanks to their friends, the Baldwins realized just how much they love each other, and they kissed and made up. The icing on the cake was Danny asking Michael to be the couple's officiant for their wedding, while Cricket asked Lauren to be her matron of honor. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that Christine and Danny's wedding in November will be the event of the year. As one of GC's most popular super couples say, "I do." The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Nick Newman delayed heading out to Los Angeles with Sharon Newman for their trip to see Noah Newman. So could this delay the chic reunion some fans have been waiting for? Nick and Sharon's rekindled romance has been a slow burn. They kissed months ago, and not much has happened since. Nick is apprehensive about the whole thing ruining the awesome friendship and co-parenting relationship they have, while Sharon would jump in at a moment's notice if given the opportunity. Y&R spoilers remind fans that Noah's going through something difficult, and his parents simply want to check up on him. With that said, during the week of October 13th, Noah will land into some kidnapping danger, which is when Matt Cohen's Detective Burrows character will debut. Burrows is slated to first appear on the Thursday, October 16th episode, and it sounds like he'll help Sharon and Nick locate their adult son. While a lot can happen between now and then, what if Noah gets kidnapped before Nick arrives in LA? Nick was on the fence about joining Sharon during the October 9th episode, but as Newman Media just published that piece on Kane Ashby, all hands were on deck to ensure Kane didn't strike back. Adam Newman advised Nick to stay put, and his brother agreed. If Sharon is alone in LA and something happens to Noah, she may be the first one to interact with Burrows. Will sparks fly between the two? Sharon's a strong woman, but the detective swooping in and helping her during an emotional time, like Noah going missing, may be enough of a situation for the two to bond. There's a small chance Sharon hops into bed with Burrows, as this is a soap opera. However, simply getting to know someone, feeling an attraction, and leaning on the only person available to lean on could be enough for Sharon to catch feelings for Burrows. Nick will eventually get to Los Angeles, especially in light of Noah's disappearance, but there could be a delay that lasts for days. Will Detective Burrows place a massive snag in the Sharon and Nick reunion? The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest Sharon and Nick hitting yet another stumbling block on their road to happily ever after will add a nice layer of drama and anticipation for chic fans who have been on the edge of their seat to see their favs finally come together. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti may share a kiss during their visit to Boston after Mariah Copeland rejects her wife. Tessa has been on a roller coaster ride for weeks now, dealing with Mariah's PTSD after a business trip gone very wrong. Mariah left Tessa and their daughter, Aria Copeland Porter, shortly after the fact, and Tessa leaned on Daniel. During her marriage drama, Mariah got drunk at a hotel while she was away conducting business for Cassidy One, met an older gentleman named Will Hensley, and the two got close that night. In fact, they were seen getting very intimate at the bar and eventually headed to one of the rooms. Still, what happened after that seems very uncertain. Mariah admitted to trying to suffocate Will, but the good news is that he's alive. The hotel staff did note the man checked out quickly in the middle of the night and was shaken. But he was alive. Mariah went to Boston to a facility to seek therapy, and this week, Tessa talked about how much she missed her wife. She decided to go see her, and her new bestie, Daniel, had agreed to accompany her. Of course, Daniel has developed feelings for Tessa, even though she's clueless about the fact. They've bonded through their guitar lessons, and he's been a pillar of strength for Tessa as her marriage has crumbled. With that said, Daniel is fully aware that Tessa doesn't like him like that, and she's still in love with Mariah, so his intentions around supporting are pure. He cares for Tessa, admires her strength, and respects her. Daniel just wants to be there for Tessa, so she doesn't go through things alone. Plus, he did promise Mariah he'd watch over her and Aria. Still, there's a good chance that when Tessa and Daniel go to Boston, Mariah won't want to see her wife. Mariah has continually pushed Tessa away throughout this entire process, so why would things change now? It's not hard to imagine Tessa showing up at the Boston clinic, excited to see Mariah, only for her wife to lash out at her and send her home packing. She may also tell Tessa their marriage is done, and there's no repairing things. Mariah went to Boston to get better, and Tessa, showing up unexpectedly, could jeopardize these efforts. It also crosses boundaries that Mariah had established. The sting of rejection and finality that her marriage is officially over could leave Tessa vulnerable and exposed. She'll lean on Daniel, but in the emotion of building her up and offering her encouraging words. Could she lean in for a kiss? Could the two experience a sweet moment in Boston with a lip lock? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that it wouldn't be overly shocking for Mariah and Tessa to end things, only for Tessa to rebound with Daniel and have Mariah return from Boston, ready to give their marriage another go. Phyllis Summers worried that Daniel would get hurt during the Thursday, October 9th episode, which seemed to foreshadow complications on the horizon where this romance is concerned. It looks like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul creator Vince Gilligan has a brand new project ready to hit Apple TV+, and we couldn't be more excited to check it out. Called Pluribus, it has a very special tie to the Young and the Restless and an intriguing premise that already has us hooked. According to Entertainment Weekly, the new series stars Rhea Seehorn as romance novelist Carol Sturka, who seems to be the only person immune to a new virus that makes everyone happy and optimistic. We know, it doesn't sound terrible, but as in most sci-fi dramas, we're guessing all is not as it seems. So Carol sets off to figure out what's wrong and how she can cure the world of interminable happiness. That's all intriguing enough. But then Discussing Film went and released the trailer and we were hooked. Because the first voice we heard was one very familiar to the Young and the Restless fans, and it belonged to Peter Bergman. Check out the trailer below to hear what Bergman's mysterious character has to say to Carol. Let's just say that the rest of the world isn't planning on letting Carol go about in misery. They're going to figure out why she isn't infected, and they're going to fix it. At least, that's what Bergman's cheerfully ominous character promises her in the trailer. What are your thoughts? Are you excited to check out the new series? And if you were trapped in a world of eternally happy people, would you want to join them or stop them? You can decide for yourself and check out Peter Bergman's juicy new role when the series debuts on November 7th on Apple TV, Kane Humor's Phyllis, The Young, and The Restless spoilers for Monday, October 13th, put Nick in the middle of two people both vying for his attention, his father and his baby mama. Nick was all set to go to Los Angeles with Sharon to check in on Noah. He even got off-screen Faith to babysit Invisible Christian. He was serious. But then Victor said, nope. Nick had to stay in Genoa City because Victor has a plan. The plan involves Kane and Jack and Jill. Nick was needed on site for specific reasons. Adam backed up their dad's demand. Now Victor is past demands. He's moved on to ultimatums. But Sharon needs Nick too. Noah has been in a car accident, and she needs his dad in LA with them. Is Nick really going to put his father ahead of his son? Has Sharon met Nick or Victor? Not putting Victor first is the ultimate offense. At the rate Victor is going, he's going to accuse Noah of disloyalty for getting into an accident without running it by Victor first. This week isn't good for Victor. Could Noah move his accident to next week? Phyllis is convinced that she is the only one who can help Cain put his earth-shattering, one-of-a-kind AI program into the world. Even though Cain seems to have developed it without her help, and even though she just looked up what exactly AI was a few weeks ago, Cain doesn't need Phyllis, but he is pretending he does. He must have a reason for it, which means he must need her for something. We just can't, for the life of us, figure out what. See what else happens in our weekly Y&R spoilers for October 13th, 17. Billy Flynn and Jason Thompson open up about their on-screen rivalry as Cain and Billy, their castmates, and what's next on The Young and the Restless in a live chat you won't want to miss. Two of daytime's most popular stars are sitting down for a must-see conversation. Billy Flynn and Jason Thompson are going live to talk about their storylines on The Young and the Restless, their co-stars, and the dynamics between their characters. Fans can catch the interview on Friday, October 10th at 4 p.m. ET, 1 p.m. PT on the Michael Fairman channel. Watch it live here. On The Young and the Restless, Jill Abbott has two sons at the center of Genoa City drama. Billy Abbott, her biological child, and Cain Ashby, who once conned his way into her life, are stepbrothers locked in an uneasy relationship. Since Cain's return, the two have found themselves navigating shifting alliances tied to Cain's AI software venture and a vendetta against Victor Newman. The tension between them has already proven combustible, and fans are eager to see how their story unfolds. Billy Flynn, who stepped into the role of Cain, and Jason Thompson, who has been bringing Billy Abbott to life since 2016, are uniquely positioned to explore this complicated brotherhood. Their upcoming live chat promises behind-the-scenes insight into their working dynamic, how they approach their characters' rivalry, and what it's like building this layered storyline together. With both actors known for their powerhouse performances, the discussion is sure to highlight the extent to which they pour themselves into their roles. Viewers tuning in can expect more than just a discussion of the storyline. Flynn and Thompson are likely to share stories about collaborating with their castmates, their favorite moments on set, and their thoughts on where this turbulent rivalry might go next. It's a rare opportunity to hear directly from the actors shaping one of Y&R's hottest storylines, and longtime fans of both performers won't want to miss it. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that there's trouble ahead for Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson. Things are lovely-dovey right now, but Egan let it slip that the honeymoon is about to be over. Chadam are a fan fave, but soap couples typically don't live happily ever after. Let's take a deep dive into what could be on the horizon for these star-crossed lovers. Chadam are living and working together, which could be a recipe for disaster. They have a history, as evidenced by their young son, Connor Newman. Even Victor Newman is on board with the romance. He once thought Chelsea wasn't good enough for his son, but actually offered Chelsea a job at the family biz, Newman Media. However, the couple have hit a few little speed bumps recently, and although their latest reconciliation has Chadam madly in love, Melissa Claire Egan teases that some chaos is headed their way. The main sticking point is that Adam and Victor are gunning to take down her ex, Billy Abbott. They are going after him via Newman Media, and this is distasteful to Chelsea. It's not a secret that she wants the men to lay off Billy. But that isn't going to happen with Victor in charge. Egan told Woman's World that Chelsea is trying to be a peacemaker in the ongoing battle. You have to remember that Billy literally saved her life on that roof, and then she cheated on him, Egan said. She wants to support Adam, but she has a lot of guilt about her man going after her ex who saved her life. It's tricky. Do you think that Chelsea's regard is misplaced on Billy? After all, she is with Adam now, and her loyalty should lie with him, not the ex. Tell us why in our fans, are you ready for more drama between Chadam? Do you think it's inevitable that these two cannot peacefully coexist for very long? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with The Young and the Restless right now. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of October 13th, 2025. It shows Noah Newman has been in an awful accident. However, it looks like Chance Chancellor is in the background watching Sharon Newman. Plus, Holden Novak introduces Claire Grace Newman to Sienna Bacall. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Kyle Abbott, who has the crazy idea that he needs to chase after Claire. Dude, the girl just traveled 2,000 miles with a guy she barely knows to get away from you. Kyle won't be reasonable and refuses to give Claire space, though. The preview clip for next week shows Kyle confronting Victoria Newman. The young man wants to know the addresses where Claire is staying in Los Angeles. At first, Victoria stands firm and tells Kyle she doesn't know what he expects from her. Then, Kyle says all he needs is an address. Judging by the look on Victoria's face, she might offer a compromise. Victoria might not give him Claire's hotel, but she could agree to accompany him there. In Los Angeles, Holden takes Claire to a club in Los Angeles. That is when Sienna makes her big debut. The club owner gets introduced to Claire. Sienna says to Holden right in front of Claire, "Well, anyone is better than that last one you were with. Audrey something." That's not a typo. Sienna actually does call her Audrey instead of Audra Charles. Holden insists that Claire is just a friend, but Sienna doesn't seem to buy it. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of October 13th reveal that Noah will get into a bad accident. In Los Angeles, Sharon is on the phone with Nick Newman. While she sobs and tells Nick that Noah has been in an accident, and it's really bad, someone watches from afar. I know it sounds impossible since Chance died on screen, but walking past the waiting room, a man strolls by and pays special attention to Sharon. Now, Sharon's back is turned so she doesn't see him. However, it looks just like Chance. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of October 13th, 2025? The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, October 10th, tease some major drama in Genoa City. A super couple is rewarded for their loyalty, while another super couple makes a massive wedding decision, and someone is found in a compromising position. What's on the horizon for Friday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, October 10th, suggest Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman will be rewarded for their loyalty. This will be courtesy of Victor Newman, as he'll be pleased with the work they did on the Kane Ashby expose. What will the mustache do to applaud Shaddam's efforts? Will they get a trip away? 2 brand new cars? A shopping spree on him? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Plus, will Nick Newman get anything for his involvement? Poor Nick sometimes gets overlooked. Across town, Y&R fans can expect to see Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti make a big decision where their wedding is concerned. What could this be about? Will they take pity on Phyllis Summers and decide to invite her? That may be a mistake. Speaking of Phyllis, The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, say that she'll get caught in a compromising position. She was summoned by Kane during the Thursday, October 9th episode. So will the two talk business or get caught up in emotion and partake in something a little more personal? Plus, who will catch Phyllis in this unexpected state? Could Lily Winters walk in on Kane and Red during an intimate moment? It'll be interesting to see what this is all about, since Kane was so emotional when he called, and he was reeling from that Newman Media article. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Friday's show? Comment below. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that one person could be the key to Kane Ashby's undoing. Since Kane has been brought back to Genoa City, everyone has been trying to figure out how to stop Kane's insane plan to take over most of the businesses in Genoa City. Perhaps the answer has been there the whole time. Maddie Ashby and Charlie Ashby, last played by Noah Alexander Jerry, are not the only children that Kane has, even though he acts like they are the only ones who matter. Where is Kane's son Sam? Of course, Kane cheated on Lily with Juliet Helton. Where is Sam, and why has Kane not mentioned him even once since he has been back? To be honest, no one has asked about him either. However, Sam could be the key to getting Kane back under control. Could Sam be the one to bring Kane back to Earth and get him under control? Can Sam rescue the threat to the company's Port Charles? Technically, Sam would turning 8 next month. However, that soaps often put kids through soap opera rapid aging syndrome, which could make Sam just about an adult now, or at least a teenager, with some pretty touch opinion about Kane and his obvious greed. Sam might simply wonder why his father is never satisfied. Just imagine Sam saying, Dad, do you think this BS with the fake name and constant attempts to steal everyone's company is going to win you any points with Lily? I've been on like 2 dates in my whole life, and even I know that's not the way to impress a girl. What happened to Kane is, so there was no mention of him being with him when he was spending time with his father. Kane has not mentioned his son, neither has anyone else who should have. Where is Kane's son? Has he shipped him off to boarding school? Did the child not survive? This kid couldn't have disappeared off the face of the earth, so where is he, and why doesn't his opinion matter? Is it possible that Sam doesn't want to be anywhere near Lily and her kids? Is that why he is nowhere to be found? Has Kane left him with another person just to keep him happy and out of the way? Will Sam suddenly show up in Genoa City and confront his father after all?